And welcome to Cruising with Kayfabe. I'm Mongo.
Emily.
Or are we? Because it's Halloween, so we figured it's Wayne's World. It's time to party. And what other better way to talk about a party than talk about some of our favorite wrestling cosplays?
I love it. My favorite day of the year. You kind of get to be whoever you want to be. You get to have fun with it. And I think that's like the best part. As a kid, I think I was the same costume for years on end. I don't know if that was by choice or not, but you know what? I love that our child dresses up scary, funny. He does not care as long as he's having fun.
And that's what it is. Wrestling is all about fun, it's all about entertainment. And that's why I wanted to go over the cosplays because from every generation of wrestling, from early WCW, early NWA, all the way up to AEW, wrestlers obviously have a niche for making their gear look like their favorite comic book character, look like a superhero, or dress up for Halloween. And we kind of went over some of our favorites, but I'm sure there's a lot more. So if there's any we've missed, let us know in the comments who you think has had the best wrestling cosplay, or if you've ever dressed up like a wrestler, throw a picture in the comments because I can say for certainty that we both in this room, including our child, have also dressed up like a wrestler, or two, or three.
Or, bloody, galactic. There's been
Galactic.
some.
Like an alien?
Yeah.
Like an alien that boops,
Yes.
and that's now currently a champion. Well, speaking of champions, I think one of my very first cosplays and kind of person is Will Ospreay because a lot of people don't expect him to be that person, but I mean, his whole career, he's been a nerd. I mean, he's been a video game lover. He loves Assassin's Creed, which is this first picture we got right here. He also is a huge comic book nerd and is a Spider Man fan. And he said if he could be any superhero, he would be Spider Man. So, me as a wrestling fan, when I first saw him burst on the scene, and I got to really see him 2013, 2014, seeing him come out in this Spider Man garb, flip around the ring and float like Spider Man and fight like Spider Man, it's a real life superhero. I mean, you saw the Assassin's Creed entrance at All In. What'd you think about that when they had all like the assassins like flipping around and they had the video package that was narrated?
I don't know anything about Assassin's Creed, but I know that it was awesome. I love watching his parkour side come out because we know he has a history for that. I love everything that Will Ospreay brings to a wrestling ring. And then when you add in the gear, that's just the icing on the cake for me.
It is. It's almost like the cherry on top, to kind of keep using that cliches ice cream. Now, I don't want ice cream sundae after this. We're talking about ice cream, talking about cherries. You can throw that candy corn in the trash, though, because that's where it belongs. But we're
Don't
talking
listen.
about, yeah, it gave me good sometimes. But you're talking about someone who also not only does superheroes, but then throws tributes to some of the Japanese legends, like right here, Hayabusa, who is probably one of the most famous Japanese legends. Who's the original one sadly passed away, but they brought the gimmick. He reached out to the family and he wanted to honor because that's another inspiration. So I also chose this one because not only did he get permission from the family to wear a mask, he got it made by the same gear maker and he wanted to embody the spirit. And the way he fights in the ring, he fights like Hayabusa. I know you haven't really get to see much of him besides some clips, but he is what the spirit of what Hayabusa is, which is that aerial assassin, that high flyer, that no care, no risks. And yeah, there's always going to be injury risks. There's always going to be chances that things go wrong. But when you're spectacular like that, you're going to take those risks because you're Will fucking Osprey.
Exactly. There's not much that Will's not going to try and do.
And again, maybe he should slow down. Maybe he should take the risk. But I feel like if he thinks he can do something safely and he can find ways to do it, it's going to be entertaining. Why not? And I absolutely love what wrestlers put into their gear. I absolutely love the thought they put behind it, the stories, because there's so much more to a wrestling match than just the physicality or the overt storyline that they're telling. Sometimes they tell it with a move in the ring, a facial expression. Sometimes they tell it with a costume. You have Swerve, who has always kind of seemed like that really cool nerd, like not like the nerd with the two glasses taped up and the stereotypical like the Simpsons nerds and stuff like that. He always seemed like that. I read comics, I understand my literature, I understand my mythos, and he's always embraced it. And I love it because every year he seems to step his game up from the Predator cosplay, which was fucking phenomenal with the entrance. You had Static Shock, you had Black Panther, you had the Warriors, you had so many different ones. So I'm gonna ask you, what's been your favorite like swerve? Even if maybe if it's not pictured here, that's fine.
No, Black Panther Swerve is my favorite. That's when he won his first title. I think that embodies him so much with everything he puts out there into the ring. He just 1000% is a huge nerd. Again, the hot nerd. Everyone loves that.
Whose house?
Yeah, Swerve brings everything to the table, just like Will Ospreay, and having the nerdy side, it's very clear that he goes to the right person to have his gear made. It's very clear that he cares about exactly every detail. And I think you nailed them all. I'm not 100%, but I think you nailed them all.
And I love that he also changed his entrance up, and another person that kind of fights like a superhero. I mean, think about how many different ways he's done the swerve stomp in and out of the ring. Think of how many ways he's done the house call. Think of how he's carried himself in matches. Like you said, when he won his title at Dynasty, he beat Samoa fucking Joe. Like it's not like he beat, Spike Dudley. He beat a former world champion who's been a world champion in multiple companies. He beat a Hall of Famer, and he did it with style, class, and kicking his ass. So like, how can you not love Swerve? And then when you see the gear, it's just like, he's toyetic, to steal Matt Cardona's line. That's the other thing. When I tell this story all the time, when I first got into wrestling, it was because of the Road Warriors. It was Legion of Doom. I saw these two men with spiked shoulder pads coming out on fucking Harley Davidsons, and I went, those are action figures. And I love that that's kind of what this episode embodies, is these guys look like real life action figures.
To judge off of that right there, earlier when I was looking through the pictures online that I wanted to put through, I found, when I searched wrestlers in superhero gear or costumes, however which way I did it, the Road Warriors popped up every time, and I don't think they ever dressed up.
No, and then they're basically...
Why would they? They did dress up.
They're basically Mad Max inspired, and I really think they kind of also inspired. I mean, they inspired the Death Riders when we went to Revolution wearing that. Matt Cardona, which you'll see later on here, has some spiked shoulder pads. We've wanted to dress up like the Road Warriors. We want to figure out, now they've got the 3D printer, we can make those spikes and figure it out. I want to do the Road Warriors because they've been one of my favorite tag teams. And when you see a real life walking action figure, I mean, what kid's not going to want to, get a Swerve that's Static Shock, or a Predator version of Swerve, or a Black Panther, or Will Ospreay that looks like a friggin' Assassin's Creed character? Like, it's such a cool crossover. And if you're a fan of video games, you're a fan of comics, it's like a double whammy. And now their partnership with DC, I'm kind of excited because can they get some official?
So imagine you get those 8 to 12-inch figures, but they're wrestlers as superheroes. That would be pretty epic. I think they're like, what are they, 8 to 12?
I think they're usually 6 inches, depends on the toy line. I mean, they have some that are bigger, like the LGNs, the big rubber guys.
I'm not talking about an action figure. I'm talking the display figures like they've done recently.
I mean, like the more like the models? Yeah, those are like 8 to 12. Yeah. Like when you go to the comic store and they have the glass case.
Yes.
Yeah, those are usually bigger.
So those would be kind of cool to see as wrestlers for people like us that kind of like, we don't collect superheroes, but I would if it fell into the wrestling.
I thought you were going to say we don't collect, and I was like, I think the scene behind us shows that's a lie.
Definitely collect.
But I love the fact that they have all these opportunities, and now that they're working with DC, like maybe we can get some more officially licensed crossovers, because how cool would that be to get like a Ricochet as a DC character, which he's portrayed before and you'll see later, or get someone like Swerve to have a Static Shock figure made because of the DC brand, or get someone as Flash. Like, can you imagine seeing someone like Darby Allin as like Reverse Flash? I know he's not evil, but like the way he moves in the ring, like there's so many opportunities.
You know who'd make a great Reverse Flash?
Who's that?
Don Callis.
Yeah. He'd also make a good Oscar Mayer Wiener.
If you don't know, I'm a disgustingly awesome, obsessed Flash fan, so I could put anybody into those characters.
The TV show, because honestly, no, the movies are terrible.
That didn't happen.
The TV show, that's Grant Gustin is Flash. He is Barry Allen.
Forever my Flash.
That's my favorite Flash universe. Honestly, CW nailed it. We could do a whole show just Flash, but I love that they incorporate that. And then you have someone like Seth Rollins, who, again, we're not just going to stick to AEW. I love that Seth Rollins took chances and did cosplays. I mean, When I went to WrestleMania 34, this popped the shit out of me because I'm a huge Game of Thrones fan, and he comes out as a White Walker with the contacts. And then, obviously, to show you a little collage here, he's done a White Power Ranger. He's done a guy from Tron. He's done Deadpool, and he's done Thanos. Like you said, what's about Swerve, he takes that care to put those little niches in his gear, and it's just, I like this better than the gear he does now.
I was just gonna say I miss this side of Seth Rollins.
I know this was what I liked, and we got Friends of the Squared Circle. Thanks for stopping in. Party on, Wayne. Party on, Goth. Party on, Friends of the Squared Circle. Appreciate you popping in.
We do this every Friday.
I know. It's almost like I do it every Friday. Don't torture yourself, man. No Stairway to Heaven either. I could do references all night.
I will never get them.
That's fair. Then we have another recent one, Serpentico doing a Jushin Liger. I had to put that in because I saw this morning. I was like, that's sick.
Those full body pictures too, like the full set. His whole, Serpentico is one of my favorite wrestlers in and out of the ring. I think he's just hilarious.
He's so fun.
Every little thing about him though, like the details on this, incredible. So minuscule.
One of my favorite pictures from the cruise is when we're doing the confetti thing with him because him and Luther, they were such a fun tag team together, and he's done.
Him and Angelico are.
He's
killing
done a
it.
bunch of different ones. He did the Green Goblin at one point. That was one of my favorite. I couldn't find a picture of that. He's done a different, and you're right. And Angelico with SAP, they've done a bunch of cool, different, unique variations of their cosplays, and I like it because it's different. And when you see it, like to me anyway, if I'm watching a wrestling match and I see them come out looking like this, I'm gonna be like, interesting. I'm gonna watch it a little more. Also, by the way, I want to get your wife on Bell to Bell with Amanda Monroe. Yeah, let us know. We'll look into that definitely more. Emily would love to branch out and do more podcasts. It's not always just me, guys. There's two of us. We're a tag team.
I definitely have a very open schedule, so you just let me know.
Yeah, usually when it's just me, it's because it's the weekend when she's working. But there's ways to work on it. Even if I'm not working, I can produce, set up, or we can set up the computer. We're good. We'll figure it out. We love to talk. Clearly, that's why we do this. Another recent one, Brian as Heshiero. Did not expect it. I kind of feel like the way they introduced it was a little awkward at first when, announcing the injury, but I'm like, he's Heshiero. And then Don Callis being annoyed at, which is a funny callback when Don Callis is like, have you ever wrestled someone like Heshiero? Yes, Don, I did.
feel like that's why he did it. I definitely
so.
am like, did he do that because of that comment? Because that was pretty funny that night.
Then he did Blue Panther. He's done Blue Panther, All In. He's done before. He's done a couple other luchadors. So Brian has a love for these wrestlers too, and he'll do that out of respect. It's so fun to watch him do that. And yeah, I know we've been trying to do that draft for a while. We have a draft room we want to do too. So I feel like sometimes best laid plans. We're trying to figure out a better schedule for 2026. We're trying to figure out a better schedule in general because we want to do more episodes, have more fun. That's why we're doing this tonight. Party on. That's why we're talking about Halloween. It's figured it's an excuse to come talk. And it's an excuse to come gush over some amazing cosplays. Another one who I don't think gets enough love is Athena.
She puts a lot of effort into like the back details with the wings and all of those intricate
wings.
Yes.
Those are so cool. And the one thing I'm really curious about, why has she never been Gru? She has minions. Why has she never been Gru? Isn't that his name?
I think so.
The bald guy, Steve Carell. The scarf.
Or a banana. I mean, there's so many options.
She could be Peely from Fortnite. Have that crossover. There's so many opportunities, and that's another thing. When's Fortnite going to get AEW? They've had to be AEW. Get him in Fortnite. Mike could almost play his AEW. Put Darby on Fortnite. He'd buy that pack in a second. Imagine his
and Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, imagine Orange Cassidy. He just kind of hangs out and never actually does anything. He'd be a great NPC. Doesn't have to do anything. But I picked this one because this is probably my favorite one because it was so unexpected. The Bane with the LED tubing and the mask and the presentation of it was so fun. And I love Athena. I can't wait for her to throw Mercedes because she is going to be the one. And I think it's going to be a title versus title match. I think that their tag team is going to have division and split because Athena's already getting kind of pissed at Mercedes. She's already kind of done the whole, taking a selfie while Mercedes was covered in cake. Mercedes seemed to be distracted, and she's on Twitter like, hey, let's focus. I think they're planting the seeds. Remember, Athena still needs to get her win back from April from the Owen Hart tournament.
Yes.
What better way to say, fine, Mercedes, you're so obsessed with gold, I'll put my title on the line, my forever Ring of Honor Women's Champion. You put your forever TBS title. We'll see who the real forever champion is. And I see Athena being that double champion, getting the TBS, and then maybe dropping that ROH to Billy and kind of completing that like trifecta of awesomeness. And I can see that being something to really elevate Athena. And if anyone deserves it, it's her. And again, look, she has aura. You know, to use the word that our kiddo uses, she has a presence about her. And I remember when she first signed with AEW, people were like, oh, Ember Moon. And I was like, you haven't really seen her wrestle. You saw her in NXT, and then we didn't see much else. We saw how good she was. And then she came to AEW Ring of Honor, and name a bad match she's had. Hell, yeah. She had a match with Jody Threat that broke the fucking internet because everybody thought they were hurting each other because that's how good she worked. That's how good Jody Threat was. You know, like, they both potatoed the shit of each other, made it look real, laid into each other, were professional about it to make it look stiff and real. And you had people going, well, please, someone think of the children. Like, no, they were wrestling. That's Athena.
Think of the children. This will be their inspiration in 5 years.
You're not wrong. Had to pick one from 6 years ago today. One of Emily's favorite ones. She talks about this all the time. If you haven't heard her talk about this, you obviously haven't listened. So you need to make sure you go like, follow, and subscribe to our YouTube channel to listen to past episodes. Because Emily gushes over this match from Bar Wrestling, October 2019. Orange Cassidy and Priscilla Kelly swapped gears, but they also swapped gimmicks.
Yes.
They both nailed each other's mannerisms. You had Priscilla Kelly literally coming out laissez-faire like Orange Cassidy, doing the hands in the pockets, doing the kip up with a little bit of help, doing all the mannerisms. You had Orange Cassidy in her gear doing the sexy mannerisms, making himself just attractive. It was fun. And if you didn't like it... He
was Hell's favorite harlot that night.
And if you didn't like it, I don't think you like fun. I posted the match on our Facebook today. I found it, so I always posted, so go watch it.
Again, if you like and subscribe, fun. You can find stuff so much faster.
And I had to post this. And this honestly was one of my first choices today because once that, I'm like, oh, it's the 6th anniversary. A better way to show it. And obviously, I wanted to show the close-ups of it. Like, look how committed she is. The knee pads, the ripped shorts, the pants, the jacket, everything. She went full bore to be Orange Cassidy. And then you had Orange Cassidy again rocking the bustier or whatever you call it. I don't know, brassiere? What do you call that top? I don't know fashion. But still lingerie basically like a lingerie type of thing, which he rocked the hell out of it. I wish I was that secure with myself to go in a ring looking like that. And then someone who I think used to get a lot of love, but she doesn't, and she's such a horror fan. Alexa Bliss is awesome every time she does cosplay.
She does nail it every time. She goes down. Look, she's got the glove. Like, every piece of this is perfect.
She has, like, the green and the black. She's got, like, the glove. She's got the Buzz Lightyear gear. And again, I was trying to find the respectful pictures because, unfortunately, when you look at these pictures, half the time it's usually booty shots, guys and girls. So I'm trying to find the actual gear shots. I'm not trying to find shots of their gear, if you get my drift. Like, I'm trying to show what they want to show as a costume. Again, you have Buzz Lightyear, you have Freddy Krueger. She just nailed it. And then you have one of the first ones to do Harley Cameron, but she did it like the fun way.
She did it in her own way, which made it even better because that's what kind of makes for the best types of costumes is... We'll talk about her later, but Chelsea Green, she'll do her gear, but in that way. And I think that that's really fun because a lot of wrestlers have a very specific style of gear that they want done in different colors, different styles. And I love that. Like the Young Bucks, their pants, they always change up the pants. Like keep it yours, but make it theirs.
Yeah, and you have someone like Sammy who always gets a certain pattern sewed into his shorts.
Yes.
Or not shorts, sorry, trunks. You have Matt Cardona who always wants a certain scheme, a certain color theme. And it shows how great some of these gear makers are. And I have so much respect. Like going through these pictures today, I was like, man, these gear makers out here are killing it. And one thing, if you're a wrestler and you listen to this, promote who the hell your gear maker is. Tag them. Like when you tag your photographers, tag your gear maker too. Give them love because maybe that gear maker could help another wrestler who found some substandard gear. I know I have a friend who was looking into getting some gear and they found a website and basically got scammed. But thankfully they went on Twitter and a couple other wrestlers referred them to someone who can make quality gear. Because anyone can use a sewing machine, but can they use it with quality? Are they going to have care? Think about you're going on live television with 4K cameras. You don't want the gear to look ratty and crappy.
Why do you think Bianca, Queen Emanata, and Sheeta, they all make their own gear? I'm sure there's more.
And can I just say Bianca is like super talented in the way she makes her gear, and she makes her husband's gear too.
Yeah, and Montez and
The Street Profits.
Yes.
Dawkins.
Dawkins. So sorry.
It's hard because it's like you said the name like I usually say Montez Ford and Angela. I always say it that way, so I was like, oh, I said it out of rhythm. It's like when you say a phone number when you're a kid. If you didn't say it a certain way, you can't say the phone number.
Yes.
You gotta love having neurospicy brains. Also, OG, one of my favorites since WCW, since Halloween Havoc, which is pretty much what the inspiration of this episode was. Eddie Guerrero, Halloween Havoc, Rey Mysterio coming out with the purple gear. He's always pushing the limits. One of my favorites is number one, All In 2018, Wolverine. How badass was that gear?
Ray has done so many amazing cosplays. I loved his Flash. I loved the Joker. All of them. Like, it's endless.
I included those. I can't. They're all my favorites, and he pushed the limit. Like he really pushed the limit. And I heard he got some cease and desists, but we got some action figures out of it. We got his Batman one, which looks really crappy in action figure form because of copyright. But he had a Batman one. He has so many different ones, and he always nailed it. WrestleMania for me, it was always what's Ray gonna wear, and I think that's kind of when I started realizing as a kid. These pay-per-views were when they went all out. Emily said before they always wear white gear if they're going to bleed, or they're always going to get new gear to pay-per-view, because that was always your thing. Like, when are they going to get new gear? They're going to get new gear for a pay-per-view.
Like that pink title belt for Kyle Fletcher.
But it was just, you never knew it was going to come out. Like, you had Doctor Doom, which, I couldn't believe he came out in Doctor Doom. And it was just, like, so iconic the way he had the cape. He had everything about it. Like you said, the Joker he came out in. He came out in so many different looks. We could do a whole episode just on Rey Mysterio. I was Googling him. It was like 50, 60 pictures. And you want to talk about someone who made smart decisions? Rey Mysterio has an action figure like every year.
At least.
I can't imagine trying to collect all Rey Mysterio's action
I wonder
figures.
who has more, Cena or Ray? Because I think, well, yeah, but I think Ray holds the most variants as far as like actual variant.
I bet I could ask the major group. I bet someone in there has done that research. Because I guarantee you're right. I definitely think...
I think I can ask Google.
we could. Another underrated one, Ciampa, especially during his heel run, when Goldie coming out as Kratos from God of War, he nailed it. Because if you play the newer God of Wars, Kratos had a giant beard and a bald head. Hello, like he nailed it. And one thing that a lot of people didn't appreciate about his heel run is he didn't have music. He came out to a chorus of boos.
Really?
Well, why are we getting a better version of Wayne's World? Party on. That's right, party on. I absolutely love the different looks that these people put in.
And that's a costume that a lot of people have actually recreated, which is always like different in their own way. Again, like who is it from the Dark Order that did it? Stu Grayson.
Yep, I have him.
And he made it his own.
We actually were at the episode. Actually, a couple of the pictures in here are from the episode we went to, because that was one of my favorite. And speaking of that Father Revolution, Gary was at that same one in Boston. It was so great to be there in Boston. We got to meet one of our good friends, Curtis, who let Cam be on the ramp, to get to interact with the wrestlers. We got to meet his lovely fiance, Sky. We got to sit in Britt Baker cosplay, me sit in Mankind, watch great wrestling, Darby's the Invisible Man, and then seeing Abaddon in a Halloween match with Britt Baker. Like, there was just so much fun about it. And I love that Dynamite did
and Britt
Fright Night.
Came out with spider webs.
And I like that we did Dynamite Fright Night, and tomorrow's Day of the Dead, and we're doing Collision. And great, it was such a blast. And that's really where I noticed that Tony's not afraid to allow them to go out there, because they know what they can get away with, probably copyright-wise. Like, you know, you have Thunder Rosa here as X-23, you know, basically the female Wolverine. And again, with the claws, the details, the colors. Thunder Rosa's another great one with cosplay. And she did Kill Bill, I believe, the bride. She had the yellow gear. And she's also done the Day of the Dead, which was a chase. And I think when you put that effort into your gear and presentation, you're going to be on TV more because it's visually appealing. I mean, how cool is it when you see someone like Thunder Rosa come out, her paint's done up the right way. She's got the gear that matches. She's got the claws. You're instantly kind of like, okay, I'm watching.
That's like the first thing. The second I see a wrestler in new gear, I'm like, but is it? Oh my God, it is.
And then you mentioned it earlier, MVP. Coming back to the Royal Rumble, nobody thought he was coming back. He had pretty much semi-retired. Everyone thought he was done. He was on the Jericho Cruise 2020 Part 2. I remember talking with him in the atrium. We talked all about him and Matt Hardy playing basketball. You got to see him. We got to see his podcast. We got to see him walk around, interact with fans. And then, like a week later, he's coming out to the Royal Rumble in Black Panther to a massive ovation. And fast forward, Hurt Syndicate being one of the most over things in AEW. I'm so happy that MVP got his start. I'm so happy that MVP got to come back so his kid could see him wrestle and get to see him in this awesome gear. Again, Black Panther gear. Just
I think he's worn it in AEW once as well.
I think you're right.
I can't remember correctly, but.
Yes, I remember doing the Rick and Morty with Orange Cassidy and the Best Friends. That was a classic. I think that was the first Halloween one they did in 2019, I believe, is when they did the Rick and Morty, because everyone had those masks in the crowd. Because I think it was like a crossover with the Cartoon Network. I'm pretty sure it was definitely early on, because I remember being sad that we missed it, because our show was the beginning of October, the one we went to. Then one of my favorites from Fyter Fest, Street Fighter. I have the figures behind us for a reason. Just seeing Ken, Ryu, and Kira, just seeing them, it was so cool because, again, knowing Kenny is a huge Street Fighter fan. He has done commercials for them now. Knowing the Bucks are big gamers, and essentially seeing them come out at a video game inspired, wrestling show, because it was the CEO festival for the video games. Seeing them come out as Street Fighter was fucking amazing. And hello, Bell to Bell. How you doing? This is Emily. I'm Bell to Bell. So hello, Amanda. I think that's who's running the account. Talking about cosplay here and some of my favorites, especially the Street Fighter. But now we're on the Elite because there's a lot. And again, there's more than what we have on the slideshow. But we have over 60 post pictures. I probably had like 200 on my phone because there's so much. And I love the creativity. When they came out as Toon Squad, Space Jam, and they were dunking basketballs.
And they had the Good Brothers with them.
Like the Best of Seven series for the Trios titles. And just seeing how fun they have. Look, speaking of Don Callis, I made sure I found the picture where he's covering his face, so you didn't have to look at it.
Oh, thank goodness. Speaking of great costumes, he plays a great burnt hot dog.
To quote Mrs. Doubtfire, what am I? I'm a hot dog. And again, going back to our episode, the Elite, you have Nakazawa as a big baby. You have the Elite Ghostbusters. You have Stay Puft, who we thought was Brandon Cutler, but we obviously know it wasn't. And then hearing Mikey Ruckus made the Ghostbusters Elite song in like under an hour, like pretty much day of the show. And they came out and it was just an incredible entrance. I don't think I've heard Emily scream as loud for an entrance because she heard the music and she's like, this sounds familiar. And then I looked over, I'm like, you're right, it does. And then we saw them come out in full Ghostbusters and she's like, oh, we were all excited and came with
the proton packs and everything. Like they nailed it. Pretty certain them and Matt Cardona have been thrown onto those, and they don't look like they're fun to land on.
Yeah, no, I've held our friend Frank's, who has a replica proton pack. It's pretty solid. I don't know if I'd want to take a bump on that thing. I don't even think I'd want to wear that thing.
So, going with this right here, I think that Hangman definitely is one of my all-time absolute favorites because of how he comes through with them.
It does, and that's kind of another one.
I was dying on Wednesday night. I was half awake. I'm sitting here ready to go to sleep. And all of a sudden, it's Hangman behind Samoa Joe, and I could not stop. Poor Mongo. I'm sure the ring camera footage is wicked embarrassing. Poor Mongo. I'm sitting there dying at how funny that was.
Oh no, it was great because I was confused at first.
Send us all the clips, because trust.
They were showing. They were showing the cow, and they were showing Stay Puft backstage. They were showing these different characters, the Gabagool, the meat guy. They were showing all these characters backstage, and they were setting it up it's Hangman and Stay Puft again. And Tony was in the ring, and then they must have switched when the characters got thrown out, because then you see Tony Schiavone suddenly gain some weight and start passing out drinks. But they did a good job framing Samoa Joe. And yeah, in hindsight, if you rewatch it, you can tell that the lip's not syncing right. But when you're watching in the moment, you're watching Samoa Joe because we were all like, okay, where's Hangman? Where's Hangman? And then when he goes long, like, may he reign, Emily let out a scream of excitement. I was like, holy shit, it's Hangman. It was amazing. And I agree. It was such a great disguise, Romero. It was such a great disguise. It was so fun. And it was just, can we just say that AEW does great with that between the iconic Stay Puft spot where he's like grilling Matt Jackson to this. And I don't care. You can say that you saw
Their producers are phenomenal.
You didn't see it coming until after it happened. In hindsight's 2020. You saw it after. I don't know any single person who's like, oh, I knew.
So
it
the
was
microphone was like this. So like you couldn't even see his mouth for the most part.
Like you knew it was off. We go back, but when you watched it live the first time, it was so well done. Because even the crowd, you watch the reaction, they're all like, "What's going?" Like the instant realization. It was like, "What's going on?" Obviously, want to shout out, Lana. She's done some cosplay. I don't know. I couldn't find a lot of good angles of this picture that weren't like Gooner angles. But she did Captain Marvel, which I thought was really cool. I always thought her gear was fun too. She always did a good job designing gear. Another person that was really great to talk to on the cruise. I think.
Yes.
I think she gets a lot of hate on the internet because people don't realize she's playing a character on TV. But I think the real CJ, because that's what she introduced herself to us as, I thought she was fun to talk to, and she was very bubbly.
Yes, I actually really enjoyed her. I think it's cool for like someone like me who had gotten into wrestling because of Total Divas. I think it's really exciting that we get to meet them through the cruise.
Yeah, and knowing that you get to meet Summer Rae, Lana, get to meet Saraya again, like you pretty much get to meet your Total Divas cast.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of cool. It's like you get to
Cameron was just way too intimidating. Girl, good for you.
I didn't even realize until you told me after that I was talking to Ariane.
No, like, okay, for real, Ariane, like, I love that she holds herself the way she does because it's intimidating, and that's what you should be doing. Like, I was definitely impressed.
I didn't know I was even talking to her until you told me afterwards. I thought I was just talking to a really cool wrestling fan because she was wearing like a hoodie, and she was just like shooting the breeze. I was like, oh, okay, she's really cool. And you're like, that's... I'm like, it is? I was so shocked because she just was a normal fan on the cruise. I didn't realize. I was like, oh, man. Oh, well, she was really cool. So it's funny you say she was intimidating. I was just like, oh, we were talking about the match, and she was talking about how she loved that bump in the corner, and it was funny because I don't remember what the match was, but it was one of the comedic matches that we were watching. But yeah, no, if you ever get to, and might get to meet Natty soon. So again, you can keep adding on to your Total Divas cast. Yes. Too bad we don't have a poster. You get a whole poster signed of everyone. That would have been pretty cool. Yeah, holy shit, is he gonna be Tony? That was that I could buy when he got in the ring because it was a little strange for Tony to kind of do that speech. So that I can definitely buy. Another one that's great cosplay, Mercedes. She maybe not as much in AEW yet, but she does.
It's just very subtle.
What her Selena one in Mexico was great.
Yeah, like what she's doing isn't in your face like this, or the Sailor Moon.
Like this one's great. Snow White. I thought it was very iconic. It was very subtle. Like obviously the yellow and the blue. You kind of have to know what Snow White looks like, but again, it's Snow White. As you met, and then obviously
the
Wonder Woman. And this was a very subtle Wonder Woman, but I kind of like that she made the armbands like the lasso of truth. I like that she added the little touch, like she has the gold lasso around her waist.
So something that Mercedes does often is keeping her style gear.
Like we were saying earlier? Yeah,
and just making it a kind of that style. So when she does something big like the Sailor Moon right here, it is very different. But like the Snow White and the little smaller intricate details.
The Sailor Moon, I remember her comeback of the Rebel. And for somebody that people don't supposedly like, she got a really loud reception because I went back and watched the clip to make sure it was the Rumble. Very loud reception. Again, other clips can't really find without her, like, cameraman being right up her butt. So I found this one, but again, I didn't watch Sailor Moon. I know my friend's sisters watched it, so I knew about Sailor Moon growing up.
I watched it here and there. It was really good.
I just, again, it wasn't made for me personally. But I'm not knocking it at all. But I knew it was Sailor Moon because I believed you told me it was. I was like, oh, it's an anime. And you're like, it's Sailor Moon. I'm like, oh, okay. But I can admit that. Gotta go with Adam Cole. Again, people made fun of this one, but I love that he did Master Chief because he's a gamer. It's Chugs.
Yeah, no. Adam Cole 100%, kind of like Swerve. Like, there's a reason that they are kind of in wrestling. They're nerds.
And the fact that he took one of his favorite games they always talked about, and he came out as Master Chief, like how cool is that? I'm sure that piece was heavy, but like you knew what it was. Even if you didn't play Halo, you knew that olive green, that number. You're like, I know what that is.
And if you aren't aware, Adam Cole has a huge game following. So like, go find him on Twitch if you're on there.
Yeah, I even follow Chug. I follow it on TikTok because I don't really use our Twitch account because I always think I'm gonna follow people on Twitch and go on Twitch, but then I realize there's so many social medias. It's so hard to be on them all, and I respect the hell out of people who can, stay on stream on Twitch and do that. It's a lot. But yeah, Chugs is great on there. He's great. He doesn't talk wrestling, so if you're going to follow him, you're not going to get wrestling content. He talks gaming, like right here. He talks about The Witcher a lot. This was him doing The Witcher. Great game if you've never played it. I loved playing it. They have a Netflix series too, if you haven't seen it. It's really good. It's very Game of Thrones, magic, some dragons. It's very fun. And absolutely, Service Predator favorite. I love the pictures that Speedy did of Service Predator with like the red neon lights in the background to kind of show like the heat vision and show like the different lighting. And that's the other thing. I think AEW kicks up the aesthetic to make the presentation match the costume.
Yeah. And a lot of the wrestlers work with Danny at editorial style.
Yep.
And Danny's work is amazing. Brian Cage has worked with her.
Triangle Madness.
Yeah, of course
Julia's
they all
Return.
do. All of that stuff. The masks for Julia, that was done by her. Go follow her if you enjoy this kind of stuff because she's really good. Even without wrestlers as her muse, she does really well.
No, she's very artistic. I think one of the things with photography I learned, because I used to do drone photography and wedding photography, one of the things I learned is anyone can point and click, but it takes like that artist to know how to frame the picture in their mind, to know what setting your ISO has to be, know how to balance the light, know how to refract the light, know when to turn the contrast up, knowing like it's almost like you can see the shot in your mind and your camera is the extension of your mind.
Yeah.
Like it's not easy. Yeah, we all have, smartphones that can take 4K pictures, but I've seen people that use phones older than mine and that picture looks like it's on a $10,000 camera because they know those little things. And Danny's someone that I don't know what she has for equipment, but it looks like she has $100,000 worth of equipment because like
her
how professional
work
everything
is
looks.
so good.
Speaking of so good, probably my favorite Penta one, and Penta has a lot, Joker, especially this Joker, the Heath Ledger Joker. I really hope he pulls it out in WWE. I mean, I don't think he's pulled it out yet, but I really hope he pulls it out. It was so fun to see it, and he used it a lot in AEW, but it was probably one of my favorite ones because he had the mask that matched it. He had the gear that matched it. He painted his face different to give himself the scars. The entrance, they always kind of made him do his little walk a little more manic because of the Joker. It was that next level. And, Penta's one of those people where a lot of people didn't put respect on him until probably the past year or two. And I'm glad he's finally getting it because he's fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, Penta is so good. He's definitely getting the love that he deserves. I like that right now him and Ray are in different storylines, but I would like to see them come together eventually. If you watch WWE and not AEW, do you even know that they are related?
And
I'm just so curious. I want to have them wait. I want them to marinate Ray.
Well, let's look at this from the way I look at it. Some of the best matches in AEW were the Lucha Brothers versus the Bucks, or the Lucha Brothers in tag team action. I think you can put them together and still have singles runs. Like my biggest gripe is always, just because you're in a tag team or a trio doesn't mean you can't have a singles match. I can't stand the trope of, the Lucha Brothers tag team, they can never have singles. Why? Why
no,
can't
they're
they have
doing
singles?
great apart, but I think that
But you can still bring them together.
you need to bring them together just to show people, holy shit, look at this chemistry.
Even have
that is tag team wrestling. They would dominate.
Where Penta's getting beat down and the odds are against him. If Ray comes out and makes a save, that reunion would be a massive pop.
If they know that they are brothers.
Hopefully people know. At least from Lucha Underground. One that a lot of people never talk about, and especially since a lot of the Death Rider and a lot of Jon Moxley's character comes from these comics, Red Hood. When he basically played the villain, he basically played a version of the Joker. He came out, and again, DC Comics, villain. His recent interview, he even talks about the Joker and Red Hood, and he quotes him. So you want to talk about someone who's using backstories of villains' plots to enhance his character? It's Moxley. In this New Japan, when he came out like in this, I'd never seen Moxley cosplay before.
I was just going to say, I don't think I've ever seen him do anything.
And this one was so cool because it fit his character, because Red Hood in the comics is essentially, without spoiling if anyone hasn't seen it, it's basically one of the Robins that kind of goes crazy and becomes this maniacal, psychotic vigilante that Batman's got to deal with, and he thinks he's right. Sound familiar? And I love that they kind of incorporate that same style, and it's like you can see where Moxley gets in. I love that with them being in the DC comics recently, they're teasing some of those integrations. So maybe with that crossover, are some of these writers for the comics going to help with storylines? Because some of the best storylines ever written are comic books. So like, you could easily lift the themes of a comic book. I mean, think of the Avengers. You have the villain. Everything looks hopeless until there's that one chance, that 1 in a million chance that someone like Iron Man can save everyone. You could easily have a storyline like that.
No, you could.
Another great one, we have a really deep cut here. Melina Perez. For those who don't know, Melina used to be the manager of Eminem, which is Mercury and Nitro. Nitro, who we all know now, is Johnny TV or Johnny, whatever his name is that you want to call him. She also was a wrestler. She was a great wrestler. Here she is as Spider-Woman. Now, I haven't seen a lot of people do Spider-Woman, so that's why I wanted to include this, because I thought it was cool. And again, someone that you didn't think cosplayed, but she did a lot of gear inspirations from superheroes.
She did.
And she's also a great follow on TikTok. She's been on TikTok lately. She does a lot of live. She's talking about getting back into ring shape, and she wants to stay in the ring. And she kind of wants to see what this generation of women is about. And I think she's that veteran that she wants to go in there and show that, you know, she wasn't just lost in the shuffle, that she actually could wrestle. So
like Trish almost.
I hope that she can go to like a Beyond, or go to a House of Glory, or go to a DPW, or even come off on a, you know, Ring of Honor and, you know, put someone over. Like, give her a chance to let her kind of go on her terms, because she's super talented, and
she's got a really big fan base as far as like women fans are concerned. I think that the female fan base really got behind her, and she was revolutionary.
And I think she was the product of wrong generation, wrong time. You know, I always talk about how Ivory and Tara, aka whatever you want to call Victoria, whatever you want to call her, we're in the wrong eras. Jazz, how, you know, if they were in this modern era, they'd be thriving even more. I think she was another one. I think people don't really give her credit, but I wanted to include that because Spider-Woman's such a deep cut of a villain. I mean, deep cut of a hero. And Melina's kind of a deep cut of a wrestler, so I thought it kind of went together.
It does.
And you don't know a lot of these pictures, so it's great. Now, this one, I know you don't know probably who it is until I tell you. But this is TNA, and he's Dr. Doom. And I'll give you one guess who this was. He used to be on NXT, but then he went back to TNA. Do you know who it is?
I'm looking at the arm tattoos, and he's got a really big chest with the hood. I don't know.
It's Eric Young.
Oh, wait. He was in NXT?
Mm-hmm. He led the group called Sanity with Nikki Cross, Big Damo. He had that group.
That's right.
And then when basically he found out Vince McMahon was coming back, he's like, I'm good. And he went back to TNA. And I don't blame him, because he stood on his moral grounds.
Yeah.
And again, he's someone else that... So fun fact about Eric Young, when he was kind of on his rise in TNA, he had a gimmick called Don't Fire Eric, where he was basically paranoid about being fired all the time. And he was kind of a hyper neurotic anxiety character. He was actually making fun of Abyss. Like, not him personally, but the story that was written because Abyss, Chris Park, was so... Joseph Park, excuse me, was so paranoid about losing his job that they made a character based on his insecurities. And if you watch WB Unreal, Abyss is backstage producing a match, and Bruce Pritchard's like yelling at him, and he's like apologizing, like a trauma, like he's like I'm sorry, like he's traumatized. Like, I messed up, and it's like, it's okay. And you're like, damn, that story was true, because everyone always heard those whispers that, oh, it's a rib on Abyss, it's a rib on Abyss. But then to see that this poor dude has so much anxiety and so much like imposter syndrome, and they played a rib on him, like, it's kind of a dick move when you look back at it. Like, I'm sure it wasn't Eric's choice, but like, I just thought I wanted to share that story because I don't know if people had heard that, but I had heard that a few months ago, and then I saw it on Real. I'm like, oh my God, that story was true. Because like, if you've ever worked with that coworker who's scared to lose their job, like me, you've seen that. Like, okay, did I do everything right? Are you mad at me? Like, you can see that. And Abyss is such a legend of the business. I can't believe he was ever worried. And Eric Young, you know, I'm glad he got to go back to TNA, because he's one of the legends of TNA, Team Canada. You know, them rising up to where he is. now kind of leading that retirement. He's getting closer to retirement, so he's starting to put people over. He's that experienced veteran. But when he came out as Doctor Doom, I just thought it was so cool because another one who didn't really cosplay that kind of caught me off guard. And then I got to talk about Johnny Takeover because every single NXT Takeover, Johnny Gargano had the most amazing gear. You had Wolverine.
Look at those rips.
And of course, I didn't put the slide right, but I have other Johnny Takeovers. But you had Wolverine, you had Iron Man at one point, and then my favorite, his last Takeover, he put all his gear together. Candice LeRae would match his gear with him. Like
they did Bluey for their child.
They did Bluey?
Yeah.
I did not know that. But I just love the care he put into his gear. Like you said, the rips with a little bit of blood, the blue. Like you knew it was Wolverine, but this is also Wolverine that had been ripped open by Sabretooth.
And again, it was his own gear. That's the thing about
like
Johnny
brand,
too, is
style.
that he does his style gear with their inspiration.
Speaking of former NXT, one of my favorites, Kushida, Marty McFly. I don't know if I need to say too much more, but I've always loved Kushida. I always thought he had a fantastic look in the ring. I thought he was a great worker. I love that he comes out full Marty McFly pretty much every single time, and that was one of my favorites.
That's one that I would like to see Kevin Knight do.
I would be really cool to see Kevin Knight do a Marty McFly, especially with all the different things they could do. Let's do it. I wanted to give a little shout out to Charlotte. I didn't know this was Thanos at the time until a couple of years ago, but this was her Thanos-inspired robe, and those were the Infinity Stones on top there.
Yes, I did know that.
See, I didn't, but also Charlotte was never one that I was gonna do a deep dive on, but not bad reason. Just Charlotte was never one that I was like, yeah, she's my number one. Charlotte was like, oh, she's good. My number one of the Four Horsemen was always Bayley. Like Bayley was always. I don't know why. I always thought Bayley was like she was the wrestler to me. She was the one that I enjoyed. Her and Sasha Banks at NXT Takeover. They're my 1 and 2 after seeing that match. Not that Becky's bad, not that Charlotte's bad. Just when you gravitate to two people more.
I didn't gravitate to any of them until Mercedes broke off. Sorry.
You don't have to be sorry.
Being honest. I liked my Diva era a little more.
If you know me, you know I'm a Power Ranger fan.
Yes.
Especially the Green Ranger and Tommy, White Ranger. The New Day. This is probably my favorite gear the New Day have ever done. And they've done some crazy gears, but again, keeping their style. But you had Kofi as the Green Ranger, and you had Xavier as the White Ranger. Both were huge, huge Power Ranger fans. He even played the Dragon Zord theme on his fucking trumpet.
That's right.
Like, that popped me when he came out. Do, 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 do. Like, the care into the entrance and the gear, it's just amazing. And the one thing I'll always love about the New Day is they always push the envelope with their gear. They always push the envelope with their entrance. It took a while for them to grow with me. I'm not going to lie. When I went to WrestleMania 33...
New Day sucks.
I did not care for the New Day. I was not a New Day person.
The second Cam started liking them, he was like, motherfucker.
Then you have them announce the Hardy Boys for him, because I thought, oh man, the New Day's going to put themselves in this ladder match. I don't want to see that. And the Hardy Boys come out. And then for the next year or so, I watched them and realized, you know what? I was too harsh. I really like Big E. I liked Big E when he was was with AJ Lee. I liked him when he was, in that group with Dolph and AJ Lee. I loved Kofi every time I saw the Rumble. And Xavier, I was curious about him. And the more I watched him, I realized they're just having fun and pushing the envelope. And I think the more I watched their YouTube content and the behind the scenes content, the more I kind of liked them. And then they started cosplaying some of my favorites. I'm like, all right, I'm a New Day fan.
They broke him down.
They did. Oop, we had two in there at the same time, sorry. Another one, Statlander as Rogue at the cosplay wrestling.
For GalaxyCon.
And Leva, who does an incredible job, always has awesome gear. She's been someone from Fallout. She's been superheroes. She's been super villains. I love that they come out in full on Rogue. She had the hair. She had the band. She had the gear. She wrestled like her. It works, and I hope Statlander cosplays more. I mean, she was just Goku Black on Dynamite this past week.
She's on Dodgeball.
She's
brings
Zoolander.
it. Yeah.
Like, she always has great gear. She's always fantastic. But this one was just one of my favorites because I'm a huge X-Men mark, and to see her as Rogue, I'm like, that's pretty cool. But who's going to be her Gambit? Who's going to be Ace Austin? Like, can you imagine even a photo shoot? Yeah, Ace Austin and her run these costumes back. I'm not saying tag them up,
That'd be
but I
fantastic.
just even for like a photo shoot because they both kind of have those vibes.
Those two as a mixed time would be athletic genius.
Fergal,
Athletic genius.
Fergal Devitt, aka
Ew.
Finn Balor, aka the Prince, aka whatever you want to call him.
Fergal, get out of here.
Prince Devitt. Well, this is where this came from. Is when he was in New Japan, and this is when you had probably my favorites: Spawn, Carnage, and Venom are my three favorites he's done. His demon variant, I miss. I miss when the demon was special. I remember going to WrestleMania and we got to see the demon. How happy we were that we got to see the demon entrance and the demon paint live. I hate that they kind of killed the aura of the demon by making him lose more than one time. Because the whole point of the demon was he went to that next level. He had to dig deep and get that demon out.
He tried.
It wasn't even so much he tried. It's like supernatural. Like he summoned a demon. He went to the crossroads. Like, I'm selling my soul so I can win this match. Like, he leaned into it, and the stories they could have told were fantastic. And I wish they could somehow figure out bring it back. But his body paint, man, he did it himself most of the time.
Yeah.
Like the detail on this, like to have the jaw, block your face out, have the whole jaw, to have those are his real abs, but to have the definition of your abs, to have everything, and he's done so much more, but some of the best paint I've ever seen is probably Finn Balor.
Yeah, and his demon are always phenomenal.
Darby Allin Invisman, one of my favorites, him coming out. I always love when he plays the Invisman because it's so subtle, but it's so great, especially how Darby says he likes to just blend in, so it kind of fits his character.
I think he's done it 2 or 3 times.
So this is where I was supposed to put Johnny Takeover earlier, but so these are the ones we were talking about earlier, the different Johnny Takeovers. So you have the Punisher, you have Iron Man, you have Deadpool, you have Captain Marvel, you had Robin, and then you had them all mashed together, and it was just, it's such a great look. And like Emily said, he keeps his gear, he keeps his little smiley face logo, he keeps the same design of the vest, his trunks always match. Again, that touch that he did with his gear that no one's really replicated since. Now we're going to be into one of my goats, Kenny Omega. Now, I know you know where this first picture's from.
Yes, the first cruise that we unfortunately did not embark on.
Absolutely.
We're on the wrong boat!
When they dressed up as Mario and he dressed up as Toad. Like, of all people to dress up, he dresses up as Toad. That always popped me. I was like, of all people in Mario, you picked Toad? But then the Terminator. I mean, knowing what you know about Kenny, knowing how he still incorporates the into his dives. This at Wrestle Kingdom where he shot the shotgun off and the pyro came out. The absolute awesomeness of that mask, the look, the vibe, the entrance video. He actually, just like in Terminator 1, he had the electricity bring him in, like he teleported through time. I wish we could get that kind of same entrance style more for Kenny because that was true cleaner Kenny Omega. This was like peak Kenny Omega. Obviously, Sephiroth, the one-winged angel from Final Fantasy. That's where he got his finisher from. That's why he calls it the one-winged angel. That's why he bases his whole gimmick off being Sephiroth. For those who don't know, in Final Fantasy VII, Sephiroth was essentially a villain created in the lab that murders his own mom, and it's a psychotic villain. And Kenny embodied him perfectly, and I love that he has the gear of Sephiroth. And then, obviously, Destiny. For those who've played the game Destiny, he was one of the first people, I think, to ever cosplay as someone from the game Destiny. And I always thought that was cool that he went out there and he was just himself. So you have him doing Capcom games. You have him doing Destiny. You have him doing Final Fantasy. You have him embracing games that a lot of people weren't really doing or talking about, and I think that's what I enjoy. And his new entrance, when he has that Final Destination that's actually composed, it's going to be Final Fantasy, by the Final Fantasy creator. Like, it's so cool that he's working with these companies that are allowing him to do this. And it brings another level, I think, to Kenny Omega. It shows kind of what a hardcore nerd he is, but it shows how badass he is, too. And we were talking about DC earlier. This is one Ricochet could bring back. Obviously, Nightwing.
One of my favorites. I think he had an action figure as well with this.
He did. That was one of the first ones you bought of Ricochet. Because you had to have it because it was Nightwing.
I had to.
And I love this because again, Ricochet doesn't really wear a full body suit typically. So he wore this to be Nightwing. Nightwing's a DC character. You know, he's Dick
back.
Grayson. He's the first Robin that turns into him. You could easily bring this back for cosplay. Don't forget My Hero Academia. You know, he's a big anime guy. We've seen AEW. We've seen him come out with different cosplays and different, but him having the My Hero Academia, not a lot of people were doing this gear, and I don't know much about the actual anime, but the colors of this gear were awesome, and the fact that I knew what it was means he hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, for us to be like, wait, that's something, but what is it? You're still doing something right, because we do not know anime.
Our child does, but we don't. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's besides Dragon Ball Z and Pokemon, I didn't really get into much anime. But that's also because I grew up in like the 90s where it was harder to watch it.
There's two.
I had to include that because that's probably one of my favorite cosplays. Because if you've seen Kratos, he fucking nailed it. You've seen me play God of War. Had to include Jade. Jade is, and I hope I know tonight on SmackDown, she had one. I didn't see what it was, but I know she was on SmackDown as someone tonight.
She's continued her cosplay.
So I'm glad that she's continued because it's always my favorite. This is probably one of my favorites when she did Storm, because a storm is coming. They had the snow. Her doing Jade doing Jade from Mortal Kombat. That was one of my favorites. Thundercats.
Oh, I forgot about the Thundercats. She really did nail it every time.
And I appreciated that because she went out there and she took a chance. She changed her gear. She painted herself. She changed her hair.
She was She-Hulk once too.
She was. I couldn't find a good picture of that one.
There wasn't many good pictures.
I found a CGI one that was terrible.
The paint was weird.
And I just think I like that she's kind of like, she doesn't seem like she'd be a nerd. She seems like she's going to be that prim and proper, like, I don't want to say uppity because she's not. She's super sweet. We've talked to her. But she seems like, her character seems like she's going to be snobby. And then she's just a down-to-earth comic book nerd like us.
Again, like Ariane, just like, you hold yourself so well that you're intimidating in such a great way.
And probably one of the nicest people we've talked to.
Like Abaddon. Fucking scared shitless of her.
And, you know, a lot of people who want to give bad to Jade, I'll say this. On the second day of her meet and greets on the cruise, she was a few minutes late because she wasn't feeling good. And she stayed late to make sure everyone in line got a picture.
Yes.
She made sure everyone who was in line to meet her got to get a picture. And she doesn't get paid for those meet and greets. So she did that because she didn't want to disappoint her fans. And I thought, that's awesome. The fact that she came late, no fault of her own.
And she was TBS champion at the time.
And she was letting people hold the title. She was talking. And you talk about how, when you met Hangman, how he marked out over that guy's boots. I saw Jeff talking to Jade about her husband and the baseball player because St. Louis Cardinals. And that was like my boots moment. I got to see that. I'm like, it's so cool to see her talk about Brandon and talk to Jeff. And like, she's being like a normal conversation. Like, the barrier comes down. You see the real Jade. And that's what I liked seeing. And again, her cosplay's always been on point.
Yeah.
Couldn't be a cosplay episode without our girl, Chelsea motherfucking Green.
Chelsea.
I mean, Heart Foundation with Piper, Cactus Jack. You have the Ghostbusters.
Little Red Riding
Red Riding Hood. I can't really see this one too.
That one is Belle.
Was it Belle? Oh, the apple. That's right.
Or no, not Belle. Snow White.
That's right. The apple. Should have known that one. Fantastic. When she went into the dumpster and she was wearing like
the waste management style
the waste management gear. When she wore all the Chelseas all over herself, when she was the U.S. champion, when she was wearing the U.S. gear.
She was a Statue of Liberty.
The Statue of Liberty. Iconic. And actually, from also Red Philippines, JD, his wife was that character too. It was the Statue of Liberty, and he did The Rock. So I thought that was cool because it's cool to see their gear inspires other people to cosplay. And I think Chelsea's so iconic that when she does her gear, people follow. And congratulations to her. She got a new contract. She's in the perfect role for her. She's essentially like an ambassador. Let's give her some more gold soon because Chelsea on TV is money.
Yeah, she is.
Chelsea can take a turd and make it a cupcake. Like, she's that person everywhere she's gone.
I wouldn't eat it, but I'm sure there's people that would.
Oh, no, me personally, I wouldn't either. But, like, even in GCW, she was entertaining. Like, everything, TNA, her and Deanna were some of the biggest reasons we tuned in every week.
Yeah. No,
that ladder match, like, Chelsea's been one of my favorites, and it's not just because of Cardona. We've liked Chelsea, and I'm glad that she's gotten this other run with it. She's finally got showing, you made a mistake firing me, and now she's on TV. And honestly, she's probably one of the most iconic characters they have.
Look at me now. Love Chelsea.
Speaking of Cardona, we had to include probably my favorite gears.
Oh my gosh, the second they released this action figure,
You bought it for me.
I bought it for you. He's funny. I bought that immediately because I had to have it.
We had to.
I had to have it.
She's so excited. She's dropping the microphone, guys. Mic drop. No, and that's why I wanted to include the one with the action figure after. He wore that gear to the show, and then that night, this figure went on sale. I thought that was cool. Like, what kind of turnaround is that?
I thought he had the figure first.
No, he wore the gear, and then he planned the figure, and he basically dropped it after he wore the gear, so that was fresh in people's minds. And it worked, because you went out and bought it right away. Abaddon is Gold Dust. And I know you love this one, so tell us why makes this one your favorite?
Well, if you didn't know that Goldust has a lot of training, so Dustin has his own academy, and Abaddon has been a part of that for quite a while. She still is there doing shows and training and stuff. And if you don't follow her, she's definitely a good follow. Well, they are a good follow. Abaddon brings something very different and niche to wrestling.
Her cosplay is incredible.
And she's constantly changing, constantly dressing up as other people. And something that Abaddon really, really does well is working it into her full character.
No, they're really good about that. I saw her do Melina, and the paint, the fangs, the blood. Some of the pictures I couldn't show in here because I don't know what Facebook's limit on some of those pictures. And so I think some from her Patreon, so I don't want to take her money from her because that's just not who I am. So
if you do that, shame on you.
So go check out her Patreon because she posts about all the time. She posts these great photos. She'll put teasers up on her Facebook and Twitter, and I see them sometimes, and I was like, wow, they're so good at that. Like, and they're always taking suggestions. Resident Evil, all these different iconic cosplays, and they're so good with paint. Like, I just incredible what they can do with, like, what do you call it? Sculpting themselves with paint?
Yes. Contour.
I knew there was another word for it. Going back to Back to the Future, I had to include Matt Cardona because I had the DeLorean. Like, the amount of money he pays for his own entrances at GCW is wild.
I think over time they pay for themselves. The Bellas.
Batman and Robin, the Bella twins. That was a classic. I like the little pumpkins in the background here. Must have been a Halloween episode. Shotzi as Edward Scissorhands. I thought that was cool. I hadn't seen this one before.
So something that I will say, WWE used to do a tasteless costume night with the women, and now I feel like the women are able to do a lot better because they're able to be more respected in what they're doing. So I think that what these women are bringing to the table are really perfect for what they're able to do.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that I agree. I think they're able to kind of get their style and put a costume out that's tasteful, empowering to them and tasteful, and it's not something that's just going to focus on something that's going to be plastered all over the internet for people to get cheap likes. And I think that's what it's about. It's about, you don't always have to put people in that light. You can wear something that makes you feel good about yourself. It doesn't have to be.
However, Liv Morgan playing Chucky wasn't terrible either.
I'm not saying it's bad. Listen, if I had the confidence some of these people do, I'd flaunt it too. I don't have the confidence. Like I said, Orange Cassidy earlier, wearing a negligee or whatever the heck we're calling that, lingerie, I would not be comfortable. The fact that he did that and did it swimmingly, I wish I had his confidence. And that's awesome. And I think that's a big part of it. Having the confidence, go out there and try. Tease your hair, put on the scissor hand to wear, that leather suit don't breathe. So to wear that. And then obviously we have Tegan Knox. She's wearing Captain Marvel here too, but
now Noelle Nixon. So excited for her to be joining AEW.
She'll be on Collision tomorrow night against Megan Bain and Marina. So it'll be interesting to see.
Speaking of Megan Bain,
Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn, and it's really sad about Penelope, but another one that was so good at cosplay. Really hope Penelope Ford heals up. It's so sad to hear about her injury. I really hope that she's able to bounce back and come back stronger because she really was on the rise, and I think this tag team was one of the best things that happened to her in AEW.
Yeah, the irony of her working with Megan Bayne, but I also really enjoy their chemistry together, and I'm excited to see another GCW legend to step in with Megan Bayne.
Ooh, yeah, Marina Shafir. That'll be
Yeah,
interesting.
I think that it's really cool to see that coincide.
And it's kind of staying on the DC theme. We have Andrade as Joker, and we have Charlotte as Harley Quinn. And I think this is the more modern, like the Joker movie, because that looks like the Arthur Fleck Joker.
The Joaquin Phoenix?
Is that his name? Joaquin Phoenix?
Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
The dancing one?
Yes.
Yeah, Joaquin.
I just knew he was Arthur Fleck. I don't know. I didn't see the second part.
I didn't watch that one.
It was terrible. I don't want to get us canceled, but I'll just tell you it was not a Joker movie. It was terrible.
The Dark Knight, Heath Ledger is my forever Joker.
He's my forever Joker, too. Keep DZ. Mercedes as Poison Ivy, and we have Camille as Bane. I don't know why I blanked on the name there. It's a great look. Again, this is back when she had the New Japan Strong, so this is, I think, at a Comic-Con last year.
It was San Diego Comic-Con 2024?
So now we're going to picture some of the pictures you found. And then I had to, my favorite from Halloween Havoc NXT, Pinhead. Like, how cool does this look?
Shotzi, I can't believe that they ever let her go before Halloween, because how stupid.
And then our buddy Brian got to go see a Halloween themed GCW with Shotzi doing that same shtick. So I think that's cool. But that's pretty much what I had for my cosplays. Is there any cosplays maybe I missed, or any people that we didn't talk about that you want to go over real quick? Maybe we can't think of.
Can't think of it right this second, but
I mean, I love it. I mean, as you can see, we love to dress up. We're gonna dress up on the cruise. I can't wait to play out our cosplays for the cruise. Can't wait to play our cosplay for London potentially. I'm not saying we're gonna go full regalia, but I can't wait to like plan an outfit. That sounds so silly to say, but even if it's something for like, we go to an independent wrestling show, we wear something fun. I can't wait to have fun planning our adventures.
So something that I really enjoy doing is dressing up as the wrestlers. Last year, I was so bummed because I just couldn't figure out who I wanted to dress up as, because, you know, I loved doing my Chris Statlander with the green face paint. I really was sad when she changed her look, but I think it's for the best. So when I saw Harley come out with the cat makeup, I was dying. I was like, I'm doing that on the cruise. That is what I'm doing.
And nobody else did it.
And no one else did it. And shame on you. I cannot believe no one else dressed up as Harley Cameron.
So are you the OG Harley Kitty?
Maybe.
Because I mean, now there's gonna be more people.
Yes.
Because
we've
now
already seen it with like the heels meeting. We had that.
Yeah, I think that it's gonna be interesting to see what kind of cosplays come about. I think it'll be interesting to see what we plan, and also let's see in the next couple of days what costumes kind of get posted on social media that wrestlers did, because it's kind of my favorite time of year to see what everybody dresses up as.
Me too, and I think that, you know, being in the limelight, it gives you a little bit more showing of what you're doing. But I think that it's really cool to see wrestlers dress up as other people, like we dress up as them. You know what I mean? Like, they're showing us their superhero and who they want to be. Meanwhile, you have all of us dressing up as them.
No, I agree.
We've had a little Darby. We've had a little OC. He's dressed up as his own American Nightmare. We have had our son dress up as so many different wrestlers. When I tell you in 2019, this boy said, Mom, I want to be Darby Allin for Halloween. And I said,
Bet.
No one's going to know who you are at first, but that's okay, because Darby had just come on the scene. Now, if he was to dress up as Darby Allin, I don't know who wouldn't really know who he is, which is kind of cool.
I agree. And I can't wait to see what we plan. Stay tuned, because speaking of Darby Allin, you might see a cameo from Little Darby here soon in the coming weeks. Stay tuned to us, because you're going to see some Blood and Guts content, speaking of Blood and Guts, because we are going to be in the building live for Blood and Guts.
And if you are going to Blood and Guts, just know we're hoping to do something there. We'll see how soon we can get there.
And, you know, we'll have some stickers and some little giveaways, so come say hi to us and get some free swag as a thank you for following us and supporting us on this journey. We
We
appreciate
might have
you
some like
guys.
tailgate games to play. We're gonna figure some stuff out. Something else I want to point out is if you are watching and you saw me at my job today and you told me about your son watching AEW, that was really fun. I really like talking to you.
Right. Speaking of like talking to you, hey Smokey, how you doing? Thank you for popping in. We always love talking to Jeff, Dr. Smokey. He's one of our great contributors to our show, him and Rachel. And yes, we are going to Blood and Guts Live. We will be in Greensboro, North Carolina on November 12th, watching the action. 2 Cage, 3 words, blood and guts.
Also, if you're going that way that weekend, Nerd Bombers is having some meet and greets that day on Saturday.
They absolutely are. And, I want to wrap up here just so we're not going too far for time. But I want to thank everyone for having a good night. Make sure you stay safe tonight on Halloween. Have a happy Halloween. Have a happy November 1st.
Call an Uber.
Stay safe. Stay fun. And remember, always
Keep the
the
kayfabe.
kayfabe.